I was, how old was I? Well, it was 2018, no, 2008 when I started my career in fashion. I graduated in 2013. From the moment I started in fashion, I wanted to become a master at the craft. I literally told myself I wanted to become a master tailor, and that's exactly what I became, what I went for. And in those times, I apply a lot of discipline. I mean, that's where all the discipline, all the hard work, everything, what prepped me back then is what got me to the point where I am today. So I remember just putting all kind of hours into becoming a master tailor. I used to go to school from, this is college. I used to go from morning to like, some days I did 48 hours, 72 hours at school without sleep. I would start in the morning. We'll have a lab that will open until 2 a.m. And so we work all the way to 2 a.m. Myself and some faces, it was usually, they were always the usual faces, doing homework, doing projects. It would always take a lot of time. And so we would be in school for hours and hours and just studying this thing. And I was completely just enamored. I was dedicated to this goal. So I was always learning. I was always applying. I was always, I was getting books from the 1800s, the 1600s. I wanted to know where the art started from and how it became today. I wanted to know the standard formulas, the fundamentals to tailoring, and then all the way up to what makes you incredible at this work. And so that's what got me to, I think, aiming the bar that high. Years after, I noticed that aiming the bar that high is what got me to the top of, like the highest this job can take you, and that's working with celebrities. I didn't have it in my plan to work for celebrities. I just wanted to be really good at tailoring. I wanted to be like the best. Like, what's the point of doing it if I'm not the best? So that's what I wanted to do. And so it wasn't in my purview to my predictions to become a tailor for celebrities. It's just something that happened along the way, and I realized that that's where I wanted to work. That's where I felt the most comfortable. And that's why I felt that I was really doing something. And so, yeah. But to give you details in between my first celebrity and school, because I didn't start working with celebrities until I left school. I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. I put in about 5 years there. I did 3 years in design, and then I did 2 years in production management. Basically, I wanted to, again, came this obsession to be really good, to be well-rounded, to be, just really good. And so after learning the design, I wanted the business aspect, and that's exactly what I learned. And by the time I came out, I was pretty comfortable working as a designer, a tailor. In fact, I went from wanting to be a designer to wanting to be a tailor. But in general, in conclusion, it's the same thing. I think if you want to be a designer, you should know, you should at least be at like an intermediate level in this fashion craft and making things and working with your hands and making clothes. You should know the craft. That way you can troubleshoot. It makes you a better designer to visualize what you want to do, it makes you better at designing. You're sewing things in your head. You're seeing on the person. It just makes for a better experience as an artist. So I wanted to learn the business aspect as well as a tailor, and so it gave me a nice position, to be in as I was advancing. And then after I left college, that's when I did a few fashion shows, and I dressed really well. And so people noticed me. And when people noticed me, they wanted to, associate themselves with me, and that came with referrals. Like, hey, do you wanna? There's this tailoring job here. Can you do it? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so that's it. Just started as referrals, and I did one thing. Next thing you know, when you do it well, they call you back to do another one and another one and another one and another one and another one. And so that's kind of how I found myself in celebrity. I think also it had a lot to do with stylists. Stylists are like the gateway to celebrities. Celebrity stylists. Those are the people that a lot of them have helped me along the way. In terms of getting into that world, it's not something that again that I did on purpose. It's me doing my part and them noticing me and us coming together to do this. So yeah, my first celebrity was definitely had to be through stylist. I don't remember who that is now, but I think the first one I had an encounter with was it's between two people. There's Steve Carell and then there's Steve Harvey, and I worked with those two when I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue. If you don't know Saks Fifth Avenue, it's one of the biggest luxury department stores in New York. I think they're Saks off Fifth, but Saks Fifth Avenue is the flagship is in New York, and this is where you have all the designers, all Chanel, Fendi, Zegna, Brioni, Vuitton. They're all in there. So that was a great start for me to learn to start working with designer clothing, and then people of prestige. They wear things of the more of a quality. So I think my first run-in was between Steve Harvey and Steve Carell, which is funny, right? It's they have the same first name. And yeah, so I think the first time I worked with one, it basically just told me, well, if I can work with one, I can work with more. And then I started focusing on that. I had a full-time job from when I graduated college in 2013 to 2018. So I've always worked a full-time job. I think because of the intensity of being a student at FIT, it prepped me to kind of be able to do one job at once and to be able to use the entire day to be productive. And so I always had a full-time job, but I find ways to work with these side projects while I was working full-time. And so I gave it the attention it needed, and the clientele grew more and more. I started meeting more and more people that wanted to work with me. And that's kind of how that started. It wasn't something that I planned. It's something that came along because I put a lot of work into becoming the best that I could be, right? And so the mindset shift that helped me succeed, for me, it wasn't, so I think I was already in the mindset because I was raised to be somebody who always had to produce excellence, right? And so I was used to producing excellence. I had to learn though how much work it was going to take for me to become who I wanted to be. And also my goal was to become a master tailor. It wasn't because to work with celebrities. I think if anything, I wouldn't have guessed myself. I wouldn't have given myself that much credit that, yeah, I want to work with celebrities. No. I just wanted to get really good. I really love what I do, what I do, and what I was doing at the time. So I wanted to become best, and the best led me to becoming one of the best. And there weren't many like me. I only knew one other guy who was like me, and they would always ask me, are there other young black, well, they didn't say black, but other people like you, other young tailors or other young black tailors? And I was always presentable. I always dressed well, smell good, presentable. I wanted, to leave an impression, and that's what I did. And I became one of the very, 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 very few to do this job. And this job is full of people who are older, rightfully so, because this job demands time and practice for you to become really good. And so, yeah, That's how things went down. And so the mindset though that I had to keep was discipline. The discipline, I never strayed from that. It was always do the best job, do it the fastest you can, and do it so well that you can walk away with the pride of doing a good job, even if you weren't paid. I was just really obsessed with excellence, and I still am obsessed with excellence. You always have to be excellent. I always say, if you don't mean to be excellent at the thing, then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And that leads me into lessons for aspiring entrepreneurs. I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. I've helped develop about 7 companies, 7 brands, and I've met a lot of entrepreneurs. I've worked with very few, and they're the people who have the dedication, and then there are people who think this is what they want to do. And so I advise people from time to time, certain people, I advise them to do things a certain way, and they kind of want to aim for the low-hanging fruit. And my thing is, why come into this thing, invest all this time and all this money to aim for the low-hanging fruit? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'd rather fail at trying to be the best, right? I'm not saying it's always going to be excellent, but we know that perfection can be attained, but chasing perfection would definitely put you on the top level of things, right? And so when I pick something up to do, my thing is my drive behind it is to do it the best that I can. And so for aspiring tailors, I've heard people that tell me that people have told me, you won't make money being a tailor. There's no money in this, or there's no future in it. I've worked with some of the biggest names in this world and in this industry. I haven't always been bragged about my resume because no ego involved, but my resume has always spoken for itself, and every work that I did got my name further than I thought. Most of the jobs I've done have been referral. I've never really marketed myself or advertised myself. It's always been referrals. All right, so if you're gonna do the thing, just go for it. Go for everything. Go to be the best. Don't just do this is what I can do right now, and just don't limit yourself. Never limit yourself as an entrepreneur. Never limit yourself, because at the beginning you need that discipline, that want to be best, that needs to be sealed into your DNA. That needs to be your day-to-day, no less. That needs to be your day-to-day, no less. So for tailors or aspiring tailors who want something other than working in the dry cleaners or working in a small shop, if you wanted more, then you're going to have to prepare for more, right? The discipline has to be up to par. The way you communicate has to be up to par. The way you present yourself has to be up to par. You have to study, you have to learn, you have to become better. Always take the opportunity to learn from the best, from the people who are better than you. Work with people who work in the entertainment. I keep looking at this because I don't know if it's going to die soon. Work with people who are in the entertainment world. Network with them. Get better at your craft. And working with celebrities is different to making clothes. Working with celebrities, they're always in a hurry. It's always showtime. So I've had to learn how to be a tailor for celebrities. Learning to be a tailor normally is one thing, but learning to be a tailor for celebrities is a different thing, because the skill that we use there is not what they teach you when you go to learn how to sew. I've never come across a sewing program, a sewing school, a sewing whatever that teaches you how to sew, that was teaching how to work at that level. So when I started working with celebrities, when I met other tailors which are older, I stuck myself to them. I asked a lot of questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? And they taught me a lot. And so that matters too. You want to be able to to be ready in that sense. You want to be able to, when people give you something to do, you want to be able to do it, and you want to be able to learn. You're gonna have to learn this. You're gonna have to learn this. Nobody taught me that I had to learn that type of a different kind of tailoring. So I had to learn it, and I learned it from the people in the industry as soon as I could, as soon as I got next to them, as soon as I got on that side of the business. I didn't even know that side of the business or that kind of business existed. I just literally got pulled into it, and then I learned the whole world. So if you want to turn your skills into a business, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be talking more about this on this channel. And if you're curious about anything else that I spoke about, reach out, send me a message, and I'll show you how. That's why I'm here. I'm here to share what I know so that it can help somebody. So thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, share, and I look forward to having you on the next one. Peace.